if we're to believe that Maxey can take that, of course, step for tomorrow's game along with Joel Embiid, that's where the game plan is going to be. Who's your X factor, Kyle, for Miami specifically tomorrow night for the Sixers?
On the Heat or just
for
in
the Sixers against Miami?
I think it's the guy who's going to be the X factor the whole run. It's Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, that's my answer.
I think you could spin it. There are two lines of thought. You could say it's Tobias Harris, right? But I think I've been through enough runs with him that I just I'm not coming in with almost any expectations from him. With Kelly, there are so many ways this could go, right? Does he sustain just the level of play he had at the end of that regular season? Because he played really, really well for like a month and a half. And on top of that, as we've said many times, he played differently. He's playmaking. He's bought in off ball defensively. He's doing things on a consistent basis that you would see in flashes in the past, right? But never on a play-to-play, game-to-game, week-to-week basis that we saw from him at the end of that season. And frankly, like I've talked about my concerns for them in specific matchups, mostly against Boston. Like, who do they have to throw at the opposing team's best player? Well, Kelly is going to be a huge component of that battle, right? The guy to be able, who has the length, the athleticism, all that to guard the Jimmy Butlers, the Jason Tatums. We've seen him at times. We saw him guard Jalen Brunson in a game against the Knicks. Yeah. And there are going to be a ton of matchups where if Kelly's not your most important perimeter defender, especially because it looks like DeAnthony Melton is just written off for either at least the beginning of the playoff run, but potentially the entire playoff run, Kelly's importance goes even higher than it already was. And so can Kelly Oubre during this run, however long or short it is, rewrite the book on his career up to this point? I think it's super compelling in a lot of ways. It's also a bit terrifying because you just don't know who this guy will be, but I'm cautiously excited about it because he has put together what I think is the most consistent stretch of basketball he's had maybe in his career.
Well, and I think you brought it up. It is Kelly. And I think you brought up the reason why. He needs to be good enough. The reason why his offense being true and legitimate needs to be actually the case is because his defense is incredibly invaluable in playoffs. The Sixers do not have very many players of his physical tools. And coming into the playoffs with so many, I mean, you look at a run right now, it would be through Jimmy Butler, through the Knicks, through Giannis if he's able to get healthy and win that first round.
And even if not, Halliburton and the 100 miles an hour offense for Indiana.
Through the Celtics and their 14 big forwards that can all score and mismatch hunt. You need multiple players of Kelly's archetype, which would be great if Robert Covington and DeAnthony Melton were available. They are not, so that just makes him even more important. You need him to make shots. You need him to make good decisions with the ball. You need him to be a willing passer. You need all of that.
All right. I agree with Kelly Oubre. That's the one. Whatever Tobias Harris gives you, we'll adjust game by game for him, but he does need to have a decent game against Miami on Wednesday.
We all silly like the mayor.